Field, Petaluma Trojans versus San. And a very good evening or afternoon to you. We welcome you from Abbey Field. I am Griffin Epstein.
And I'm Jamie Cantieri.
And we are here live from Sun, running out. Not going to be an issue here, a Saturday afternoon matinee game, while San Lorenzo 2-1 so far. Both of these teams, Jamie, are very, very experienced. San Lorenzo has 12 seniors. The Trojans have 11.
Wow, that's a lot of seniors.
And these teams faced each other twice last year. The Trojans defeated San Lorenzo in the NCS playoffs last year, defeating them 5-4 down in the East Bay. It was an exciting game. They played an even more exciting game earlier in the season, a similar early season matchup, which the Trojans lost 12-11 to San Lorenzo. That was a shootout. So both these teams, every time they've played, it has been competitive and close. Both these teams are elite playoff teams. They're expecting to go far in NCS once again this year, and we expect another very exciting matchup this afternoon.
I think it's going to be really exciting because, and there are so many seniors, which I think is pretty cool, you know.
Early season matchup, both teams just a few games in. Trojans game last Saturday, Casa Grande was rained out. We mentioned they're coming off a 5-5 tie against Redwood. That game will be made up or finished in a day to be announced. Same with the Casa Grande game, which never was started. They defeated Tamalpais 2 weeks ago 4-3, lost in their season opener to Drake 3-1. San Lorenzo, meanwhile, opener lost a close game to the Trojans. League rival Annalee 4-3, destroyed Skyline 14-0, and is coming off a victory yesterday against San Leandro 3-0. Let's head out onto the field, Kaylee. The managers meeting at center plate, and what a great job head coach Jim Salvatella has done so far for the Trojans. His second year under command. He's the former JV coach at Casa. Last year the Trojans 18-10 in SCL. They were 10-2 overall. They just couldn't beat Annalee, Jamie, and that was their undoing. Nonetheless, it was a very successful season for them last year.
Yeah.
They finished fourth in NCS. They were seeded fourth in NCS. We mentioned they defeated San Lorenzo in the first round. San Lorenzo was seeded 13th, and then they lost that tight one to Ukiah here at Abbey Field in the quarterfinals. They're looking to go farther. They have made the SCL semifinals surprisingly just once this decade, even with all the success they've had. Head coach Paul Cochran retired after 2016. He had a very successful 10-year run, including winning FCL in 2010, 2011, and 2015. Final year in FCL for the Trojans, and they're trying to win it one more time. Annalee has a lot less seniors this year, so the Trojans come in as favorites. This is a key one, though, for them, proving that they're NCS standing and trying to gain some confidence. And they're also some very interesting players on this Trojan team, Jamie. The most interesting one might be freshman Garrett Lewis, who is on a tear, and he's only a freshman on varsity.
He's only a freshman, and he's on varsity. That's pretty impressive. He must be pretty good.
Lewis has been lighting it up from the right side of the plate. He's batting .667 through the first 3 games for the Trojans. 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 RBIs, a couple doubles as well, and he might only be a freshman, but he is an absolute star with the bat. We saw last year with Sam Brown's breakout as a freshman. The Trojans have a lot of talent on this team. However, it is mostly around those seniors, especially pitching-wise. Blake Burwer and Danny Marzo lead the Trojans as their 2 top pitchers this year. They are going to rely on them, but an interesting decision by Coach Salvatella. Marzo was a little inconsistent last year. He's decided to move him to a relief role. Nick Sembita, who was on JV last year, has come in as one of the starters. He will get the ball to start today.
How long has the freshman been playing? Do you know if he's played baseball before coming?
I bet a long, long time, the way Lewis is hitting. And some players that have played for a long time. The Trojans have 5 players on their team that played at the Little League World Series back in 2012. Mentioned Marzo. Also have Porter Slate, who's going through a little bit of a hitting slump right now. A couple others, Kenton Brandis, Bradley Smith, Nick Andraken, just to name a few. We are just moments away from opening pitch. It's a dreary day here at Abbey Field, but it's good to have baseball back here a couple weeks into the season. A pleasure to bring our first baseball live stream of the season, the national anthem, coming up in just a moment as both teams are taking the field.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's listen into PA announcer Michael Barabalt back on the field.
Contest between San Lorenzo and Petaluma. And at this time, we'd like everybody to please rise or move your caps for the playing of the Stars.
Between the Rebels and the Trojans, who were building into a sort of rivalry between these two teams. They played twice last year, again on the schedule this year. It's going to be a challenge for Nick Sambita, the junior, who started against Tamalpais. The Trojans turned out getting that victory at home 2 weeks ago. He has a 3.5 ERA. He pitched 4 innings in that one with 2 strikeouts at 267 batting average against them, against the red-tailed Hawks. Trojans had a really tough early season schedule. They opened against Drake. They just couldn't hit in that game. There was a key error by the freshman Garrett Lewis in that one in his first varsity game. That cost them. Drake had a 3-run inning, but that was a good moral victory for the Trojans in their opening one. Drake won NCS last year.
Oh.
Then
Sorry.
we mentioned the 4-3 victory over Tam. Garrett Lewis made up for it. He walked off in the 7th, a walk-off base hit to score Porter Slate. And then last Saturday was going to be a big game against Casa Grande. Casa Grande went to the championship game of NCS Division II last year, lost to Arroyo. That was rained out, however. And then they tied against Redwood 5-5 and 8, and that was a disappointing loss for the Trojans. They blew a lead in that one. They were up 5-3 heading into the 6th inning. Danny Marzo came in for relief and blew the lead for them. So overall, 1-1-1, and a little bit disappointing, I think, the results so far. So I think this is very important for the Trojans to get their confidence up.
I agree. This is a good game. Sorry, I'm not really paying attention.
San Lorenzo 2-1 overall. Head coach is James Marvin, and they've developed a very strong team. They're down in the East Bay. They won the West Alameda Shoreline League last year. It's not the strongest league, but they've done a lot of winning, and they've stacked their schedule as well. We mentioned they played Annalee and lost narrowly. Their next game is at Arroyo, who won NCS last year. They've got a couple other good teams on their schedule coming up as well. Bishop O'Dowd, California, some big schools. For the Trojans, their schedule is only going to get harder going forward. They face NBL winner last year, NBL runner-up last year, Maria Carrillo, and they head to the Boris Classic later on in September, or later on in March, as our banner has just taken a fall. As we're getting ready to start here, Christian Torres is going to dig in for San Lorenzo. Turn off her mic. Christian Torres will dig in for San Lorenzo to start it off. Nick Sambita on the mound. And this first pitch is hit hard to center. Captain Brandis laying out. He can't get to it. It's going to get by him, and Torres is going to have extra bases. He's headed for 3. He's got a slide, and he gets there in time. It's over Sam Brown's head, or excuse me, over Garrett Lewis's head at third. And it's a double, and then I'm not sure if they're going to rule it an error, but at least a double for the leadoff hitter for the Rebels. Here's the DH for San Lorenzo. Thanks. And a quick start. For the Rebels with the third baseman, or DH, Jarek Rummer, another senior, 12 seniors on this Rebels team. And it's Garrett Gehring, my apologies, not Nick Sembita, who is starting for the Trojans. His first appearance. This is high, pitched up high, sky. And Gallagher took a while to find it, but it's right over his head, and he makes the catch. 1 down. All the Rebels need here is a sac fly to score a run and strike first.
Number 3, Gonzalo Barajas.
Here is Barajas, second baseman, another senior for San Lorenzo, and almost all these players faced the Trojans last year twice. However, Gehring was on JV last year. This is his first appearance, and I'm not sure that Coach Salvatella has decided who he wants as his third starter. Thought it might be Nick Andreykin, but Andreykin sort of had a variety of positions he's played. He's played some catcher when Gallagher hasn't been there. He's been at third base when Garrett Lewis hasn't been there. So
It's very quiet out here.
the pitching has been rotating. It's probably the weakness for the Trojans this year, as that one is low. 2-0. It's been lost all of the top relievers from last year for the Trojans. Matthias Lipsy was the top reliever for the Trojans. He's gone. Connor Richardson, the closer, gone as well. Blake Burwer is the clear ace, but he pitched against Redwood on Tuesday, so he's not available for this one, as that one is low. And quickly, Gehring has fallen behind 3-0. And it's been mentioned, Marzo's inconsistencies. Last year, he had some really bright moments. He
Gavin's
was
here.
a 2.53 ERA, 5-3 overall, but just had some starts where he was really off. So that one misses, and a 4-pitch walk from Gehring. Trying to move Marzo into the closer role, the relief role, was hoping that it would improve his consistency, would pitch less innings, and that could work better. Here is Andres Lopez batting 4th for the Rebels, the senior outfielder. Is Gavin Newell's going to jump in besides me. How you doing, Gavin?
I'm doing well today. Sorry I'm late. There was some bad traffic.
It's all right. And now San Lorenzo runners on the corners early in Garrett Gehring's first varsity start.
Let's peep.
Off speed in there for a strike. Gehring trying to get some confidence after a 4-pitch walk. First pitch of this ball game was taken deep to center, off the wall for got past Captain Brandis in center for a double, and then the throw over Garrett Lewis's head, and he was able to get into third. Runner going, and it'll easily come in, as it was a changeup by Gehring, and now both runners in scoring position. 1-1 and 1 out. Has to be hard here for Gehring. This is his first varsity start, and he's placing some really good San Lorenzo experienced batters. These are all seniors.
Wow, that must be definitely a tough thing to go up, especially in your first varsity start with all this pressure on you. It definitely would be a challenge to go up against such experienced batters.
One catches the inside corner, 1-2. 12 seniors for San Lorenzo, but the Trojans counter with 11 seniors of their own. 12 out of 17 players on the Trojans varsity roster are returners.
Wow, that is pretty stacked.
But San Lorenzo pretty much has the same thing. They return almost their entire roster. These teams played twice last year. Both were run ball games. Expect more of the same. More off speed. That one was way outside. 2-2.
And they're looking for the steal there on third.
Trojans have Sam Brown at first, David Hall at second, Porter Slade at short, and Garrett Lewis, the freshman, at third. That one just misses outside. And a good job by Lopez working it to a full count. This is a key pitch here. Gehring does not want to load the bases here in his first start. Obviously,
that can create a dangerous atmosphere for the next part of the inning.
Absolutely. Nerves have to be a factor here.
Yeah.
And that misses high and just sailed on him. Loads the bases for number 17, Chris
Center fielder.
Giles,
17, Chris
the senior
Giles.
outfielder for the Rebels.
That can't be good.
I think the overall confidence for the Trojans been suffering a little bit. Blew a lead on Tuesday against a Redwood team. Were able to eke out a win against Campbell Pius 4-3, but almost blew the lead in that one and had the tough loss to Drake 3-1. It's a key game to get them back in order as they head towards a key part of their schedule. SCL starts next week for them.
Oh, wow. How's the record looking in terms of SCL?
Well, the Trojans certainly have to come in as favorites at SCL. The only team they couldn't beat last year is a swing and a miss there by Giles to even it up 1-1.
Excellent.
Only 2 losses for the Trojans last year were to Annalee. They just couldn't beat the Tigers. They actually lost to them 3 times, lost in the SCL tournament championship game as well. None of the games were really that close, but the Tigers were a stacked team last year, 10 seniors on that squad, so they lose a lot of players. And
so in terms of the upcoming SCL, the Tigers really are the ones to beat then?
they're still, I think, the ones to beat, but the Trojans have to be the favorites.
Exactly.
Another one sailed on Gehring, works the count to 2-1. This one hit hard to Lewis. He can't handle it. 1-1 will score. Here comes the second, and San Lorenzo is taking a 2-0 lead. Lopez will advance to third. It's a 1-out, 2 RBI single for Chris Giles Jr. And San Lorenzo has taken an early 2-0 lead. Here is Philip Bodis batting 6. He's the pitcher today.
That certainly must come to as a big blow to the Trojan confidence here, especially with Garrett there. But I think he'll be able to pull through.
Absolutely. And Marzo just pitched on Tuesday, and Draken pitched on Tuesday as well, though he only pitched an inning. So those are pretty much all the pitchers right now for the Trojans. You don't know if either Draken or Marzo could go long if Gehring's really struggling here. Steps off the mound. Encouragement from the Trojan dugout, but he's not gotten a lot to go right early here for him. Here's another steal, and safe, barely. It was a good throw by Jack Gallagher, the junior behind the plate, who's done very well so far. Coming into today, he caught 6 out of the 12 runners that had attempted to steal on him so far this season.
That was a truly ballsy steal, too. Almost too close to call there.
And opponents have tested Gallagher's arm, knowing he's only a junior, not as much experience as else as the Trojan roster. But Gallagher's a talented player. They're going to throw to home, and they've got him in a pickle. And they will get it second out. A good alert play by Gallagher there.
Batting in the 7th position.
We'll put runners on first and second here, but Lopez is tagged out. Not a smart play there. He did not have the force on, so if he had just stayed on third, he might have been able to load the bases or at least keep it second and third with 2 outs. Instead, first and second and 2 outs. How many viewers we got?
We have
6 viewers. Very nice.
No, I didn't. I just tabbed out.
First pitch catches the outside corner. Alex A.J. Marquez, senior first baseman, digs him. Couple drops falling from the sky. It's been sprinkling throughout this Saturday matinee game. Here comes another steal, and Lewis just bobbled it.
I don't know if
it was another spectacular throw from Gallagher.
Truly.
but Giles was just able to beat it out. And Lewis has had a couple bobbles so far, the freshman. He's been an outstanding hitter, but he's had some fielding issues, and I guess when you're the manager, you have to take with the good with the bad, and he's been the strongest hitting player on the Trojans so far, but fielding's been an issue. He's only a freshman.
Wow. Which player? Sorry.
Garrett Lewis.
Garrett Lewis. He's doing
Gehring steps.
very impressive for a freshman to be on varsity, though.
Absolutely, and he's been on a tear hitting-wise. He's batting .667 through the first 3 games. 6 hits so far, 2 runs.
Impressive.
And he's batting in the 3-hole. 2-1. Gehring stepped off the mound a couple times. He's looked a little bit uncomfortable with all the runners for the Rebels have provided a lot of pressure stealing. It's a speedy team, and they find ways to get runs. They did it both times the Trojans played them. I think the Trojans outplayed the Rebels in both games, but there were some steals, some bunts, and the Rebels were able to piece together some runs, and they were able to get a victory back in March when they played last year, 12-11. That was a thriller, and then it was a much lower scoring game, 5-4, when they faced each other in the first round of the NCS playoffs.
Yeah.
The 3-1 coming, and it is low. Gallagher a good block to prevent the runs from scoring, but that will load the bases again.
Another risky position right here for Gary Gehring.
Yeah, just trying to get out of this inning and survive.
Catcher, number
We're going to have
7.
a meeting at the
Logan
mound here.
Van Hill.
Logan Van Hale, one of the few juniors on this San Lorenzo team, batting 8th as San Lorenzo's almost worked it through the full inning. Gehring's control hasn't looked good. He's trying to go with the off speed a couple times, but it's been a little off. And now the pitching coach for the Trojans, Mark Nadal, is going to make his way out. JV team got a victory prior to go to 2-2 on their season. 10-6 victory over the Rebels. What does Gehring need to do here, Gavin, to settle down?
I think, it's just really first time nerves, especially with this starting and this pressure, especially in a home game setting. I think he just needs to focus, take it slow, and don't try and rush through this.
Takes a deep breath and looks off towards the San Lorenzo dugout. He's played on the varsity basketball squad as well, so he's dealt with some pressure. Feels like if maybe he can just get through one inning and get those 3 outs, that he might be more settled down. And the Trojans pitching staff a little bit exhausted right now. They need him to get some innings in. They've got a really busy schedule coming up. That one misses low. They are back home against Maria Carrillo on Tuesday, and then they travel all the way to Sacramento to face Bella Vista next Saturday. I mentioned SCL starts over spring break 2 weeks from now, as that one misses low. And then they're playing at the prestigious Boris Classic at Stack State, which will be the last week in March. It's deemed the state championship of California baseball because there is no state tournament in California for baseball.
Oh, really?
And
I was not aware.
First time, as Gehring's really having trouble with control here, 3-0. First time that the Trojans have been invited to that, so that is something that they're really excited about this year.
That's definitely going to be a big part of their season. Not the regular season, I mean the championship season. But it's big for the team, yeah.
Chance to really prove themselves, do something special. It'll be a great experience, even if they don't get a lot of victories.
Yeah.
Open against Wood Creek Casa Grande, also participating that as Gehring has walked home a runner. As Logan Van Hill never had to take the bat off his shoulder, and that means that Chris Giles can walk home. It's 3-0. Head coach Jim Salvatella is coming to the mound, and I wonder if that will be it for Gehring. From the look of it, not just yet. I think you want to try to get him through this inning and hope that next inning with a clean slate, he could be worked out a little better, but that's not going to be the case. Gehring is done. A rough first start for him, and they are going to bring on
number 21.
They're going to bring on Jake Duca to try to stop the bleeding here. The relief pitcher in his first appearance as well. Last year was strong, came in also sort of a middle relief pitcher, 2.52 ERA in 6 appearances, 8.1 innings pitched, and 8 strikeouts. And he's a crafty reliever who can just get a couple outs for you when you need them. And right now the Trojans need it just to stop the bleeding. And then probably, I'm guessing they're going to look at Nick Andrakin to take them a long way. He pitched 2 innings against Redwood on Tuesday, but one of them especially was pretty quick. I think it was only about 15 pitches. So I think he'd probably be the one that can take them a little while. Brewer started that game, so he's definitely out for this one. 3-0, San Lorenzo leads live. If you have any comments for us, feel free to leave them in the live chat, and we'll be sure
we have
to
9 viewers
comment
right
on
now.
them. Appreciate all 9 tuning in. Looks like we do have a comment, Gavin.
It says, "Go Trojans" and "Eskedit Trojans" from 502 Kicker. Thank you, 502 Kicker. I agree. Eskedit Trojans.
Thank you. And report that the
Okay, can we
freshman
please
baseball
switch
team
to the
defeated
stats cam?
San Marin earlier this morning, 10-4. They move overall to 3-1 on the season, so it's been a good start for the freshman baseball team. Defeated Cardinal Newman on Wednesday. Yes.
Now pitching for Petaluma, number 21, Jake Duca.
So, bottom of, now back on the field. Bottom of the order here for
Second base
the Rebels.
Raul Archiga.
Raul Archiga. And Duca trying to get out of this inning. Bases are loaded, and San Lorenzo already leading 3-0. Pops it up, out of play,
foul
behind the
ball.
backstop.
Souvenir for some lucky cars out there in the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I parked my car, and I wasn't thinking about where I parked it. It's definitely in foul ball territory.
I parked my car that way, so I think that I will be fine.
Yeah,
Unless
you
we have
might
some
be safe.
robust swingers out here today.
Garrett Lewis hit a foul ball right into the top of a car on Tuesday. I think it's okay. This one popped up into right, and the catch is made by Andrakin, and the inning is over. Well, that was the out the Trojans needed just to get out of that disastrous first inning, wasn't it? Back on us? Welcome you back. I'm Griffin Epstein.
I'm Gavin Newell.
And certainly not the start that the Trojans were looking for. What do they need to do to get their confidence back right
I
now?
think that a strong batting inning here will definitely bring up Trojan morale, and then hopefully that will carry over into their next outfield.
And Trojans have really high expectations going into this year with 11 seniors, the favorites in SCL.
Yeah.
And last year had a successful season. You returned so many of those players. How do you deal with those expectations? Because I think the basketball team was in a similar, boys basketball team was a similar situation. They did not handle those expectations well.
Thing is, the more pressure that you have, the harder it is to kind of deliver on that. The harder it is to live up to expectations, especially when expectations are so high. So even the smallest mistake can put you in a funk that you can't really get out of, you know.
And the starting pitcher today for San Lorenzo is Michael Newton. And the Trojans will not see Jonathan Serra, who they saw twice last year. They saw Jonathan Serra twice last year. He's the San Lorenzo ace, but he pitched yesterday against San Leandro, and San Lorenzo shut down their rivals, San Leandro, 3-0. For Newton, this is his already third appearance of the season. However, he hasn't pitched very much so far. He just has only faced 2 batters, and he walked both of them, so he's only come in as relief. This is his first start of the season, and he's going to be challenged. This is a very point Trojan lineup, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I think that the batting is definitely going to deliver on fan expectations and just overall expectations for this season.
And they're considered the strength of the Trojans, and so far it's been good. 341 batting average, 400 on base percentage, and so far already 2 home runs. Bradley Smith has crushed 2 bombs. That could be a big help for the Trojans. They did not They really had a power outage last year. They only had 1 home run the whole year last year.
Wow.
Left fielder, number 12, Danny Marzo.
So here is the leadoff batter, Danny Marzo. He batted leadoff last year as well and had a remarkable season with the bat, 478 batting average, including 25 runs, and so far a 364 batting average, 417 OPB. And he certainly could have played baseball in college if he wanted to, but it probably would have sacrificed his education as the first pitch is high. So instead he's headed to Stanford just for his education.
Excellent choice. Definitely.
Absolutely. I think anyone would choose Stanford if they could get in there as he rips this first one to the shortstop who can't handle it. And he has a base hit. Assume they'll rule out a base hit. It was a hard hit ball. And the Trojans get that leadoff hit that they need.
Number 6,
a good start to what hopes to be a good inning for the Trojans.
Here is second batter, Porter Slate, for the Trojans, who also batted second most of the lineup last year, but is going through some struggles so far this year, only batting 200, and he's been frustrated with the way he's hitting. That one dives outside, 1-0, and Slate was hyped up about this game. He came up to me on Thursday, and I was working, and gave me a massage and talked about how he was all ready. He was all ready for this one.
That's good. Where do you work?
Work at Trojan Live.
Oh.
Right in E2. He has
good job.
English right after TV journalism.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Was working on some editing, walked right up to me and had a conversation about today's game.
That's good. It's always good to see players excited.
Yeah, someone that loves baseball, and he rips this one past the first baseman. And so far, the exact start that the Trojans needed. Back-to-back base hits to lead off the inning. First and second, and nobody out. And here is Nick Andrakin.
Nick Andrakin.
Another quick hit like that, and we'll have loaded bases to contest with. Almost just like them, but we aren't. In this case, we aren't walking out to bases.
Andrakin playing right today, and they just want him in the starting lineup wherever they can fit him in, because as that curve is high, he can play about anywhere, and he's a fabulous hitter as well. Batted .336 last year, .286 so far this year. And he was on a tear last year early in the season. That one catches the outside corner. No, I'm sorry, just outside, 2-0. And Draken really helped the Trojans out in March when they had some struggles last year. He was the leading hitter there, and he did cool down later on in the season, but he was hot early, helped them win the Ukiah tournament, AL Rabinovitz tournament, which they traditionally played in the last 5 years, but replacing the more prestigious Boris tournament this year. And so far for Newton, his control is looking a little bit iffy, isn't it?
He's throwing a lot of low balls here.
It's hard with confidence-wise. First two batters he faced, both ripped balls out of the infield in a 4-pitch walk. Not good body language from Newton, who's a senior. And as you said, quickly the bases are loaded. And here is Sam Brown.
First baseman number 2, Sam Brown.
The sophomore started as a freshman last year at first base, and what a breakout player he was last year. He was Garrett Lewis really last year, and didn't play like a freshman last year. He was at points in SCL. Was really the most reliable hitter for the Trojans at a lot of points in the season. First pitch catches the outside corner. And something Newton needs to do here to get ahead of things. Getting him ahead of the count so vital, and Gehring didn't do a good job of that in the first inning either. Oh, that was a nasty curve. In there for a strike, and Brown's quickly in the hole, 0-2.
A good hard hit here could really make the inning for the Trojans.
Trojans need to counter, trailing by 3 runs after Gehring gave that up, and Brown pops it up. A right fielder drifting over, center fielder diving, and he can't get to it. 1 run will score, And only one. Marzo comes. Slate has to hold it third because that one looked like it might be caught. It was up in the air for a while, but it was right in the gap. And the center fielder could not get to it for the Rebels. So all runners advance, still no one out, and it's 3-1. That one found the right gap, didn't it? That was Giles who could not get it. A little bit similar to Brandis, who dove and couldn't get to it, but that one.
It's cool.
Brandis in the first bat, as Smith fouls it off, Brandis in the first at bat of the game dove for the ball, but it was coming towards him, so when it got by him, it was a much longer run, and it allowed the Rebel to get all the way to third, but here the right fielder was able to snare it after the center, after Giles couldn't get to it. So Bradley Smith digs in the 4-hole. Mentioned he has a lot of power. 2 home runs already, including a moonshot last week against Tamalpais, a 2-run home run that gave them the lead, or 2 weekends ago against the Red-tailed Hawks.
Well, let's hope to see some of that playing right now.
Smith obviously very well renowned in this town for what he did 6 years ago at the Little League World Series. Oh, and he was looking for something there, a big swing and a miss. But after being the star at the Little League World Series in 2012, and the team captain of that team that finished 3rd in the world, 2nd in the United States, falling to Goodlettsville, Tennessee in the U.S. Championship game. He had a really unfortunate ATV accident as this one is grounded to 3rd, and it just went foul. Surprised that Bodis didn't decide to keep that one fair, and he might have had a chance for a double play, or at least the out at home with the force, but instead it got to foul before he got to it, so still 1-2. Smith in 2015, 3 years after that Little League World Series, had a ATV accident. He was seriously injured and only resumed to playing baseball last year, and he showed some power last year, but he strikes out a lot. He crushes this one to deep center. Center fielder going back. He will make the catch. Slate's going to tag here, and the Trojans have plated 2 in the inning. Well, that was what Smith needed. He strikes out a lot, but they just needed him to make contact so they could get another run on the board.
Now batting, number 3, Kempton Brandis.
So now 3-2, and here is another member of that Little League World Series team, Kempton Brandis. And still just 1 out in the inning. That was the first out. It already feels like Michael Noon's been out there for a while. This has the potential to be a very high-scoring game, the way pitchers have looked, as Noon is just able to get that on the outside corner. 0-1. Appreciate our other staff as well here today. Cameron Grant on camera. Kaylee Smith on tech as he is out. And Draken just got turned around. It was a beautiful spin move by Newton, and it froze Andreken like a deer in the headlights. And he had to dive back once he threw it, and he could not get back in time. He's not the most nimble on his feet. He's a big guy, and suddenly there's 2 outs. That is to give Newton huge confidence. That one just misses. That was a big play there, Gavin.
It's a dangerous thing to see Newton getting back his confidence, as he's been lowballing a lot recently. And, you know, I'd just like to see that try and continue personally.
1-1. Off speed, but Brandis got under it.
Yeah, high ball there.
Center fielder Giles makes the catch, and that's the end of the inning. Trojans plate 2, but they strand 1, and they trail 3-2 as we head to the second inning. Back on us. Well, that was certainly, I think, Gavin, what the Trojans needed. They scored some runs. They were hot off early. Unfortunately, that was a big out to Andreken there to give Noon some confidence. But nonetheless, it stabilized it so they weren't trailing by a lot in this one.
Yeah, it helped, kind of helped even the playing field there, and also give the Trojans back some of the confidence
And unfortunately, the Trojans have trailed in every single game they've played this year. They had a slow start against Redwood.
shame.
They trailed 3-1 early in that game. They lost the game to Drake. They trailed the whole game in that one. And against Tamalpais, they trailed 2-0 in that as well. So they're going to need to work on these slow starts because that's been an issue so far.
I think that if they can just start getting out of the gate a lot faster and putting up points on the board early, then they can definitely improve this season.
And it can be hard to bring energy every single game. It's a long baseball season, and you're playing on a rather dreary, chilly day here on a Saturday matinee. And even though it's against a team that's really developed into a nemesis and a good team, Gehring didn't have it, and just everything looked a little bit in the slumber early.
Yeah.
So Jake Duca is back on the mound for the Trojans for at least a little bit longer here. We'll see how long he can go. He
Off the top of the second inning for San
is
Lorenzo.
not normally
Outfielder,
back on the field.
24,
Kaylee,
Christian
back on the field.
Torres.
Thanks, Kaylee.
Duca only pitched 8 innings last year, so he's not someone that's going to pitch a lot. But let's see if the Trojans are going to get someone ready. And Draken, I thought, would make the most sense, but he's still playing right now. First pitch is a strike in there to Christian Torres in his second at bat. He popped out in his first at bat.
Aw. I miss Madeline. Tell Madeline to come back like now.
And he pops this
Madeline
one up
come
as
on.
well. Slate calling everyone else off at short and makes the catch, 1 down.
Designated hitter, number 9, Jarek Romer.
Here is the designated hitter, Jarek Romer. And he reached on a base hit in the first and came around to score. Pitch catches the outside corner, 0-1. Gallagher behind the plate, Duca on the mound. Brown at first, Hall at second, Slade at short, Lewis at third. That one's high. Brandis in center, and Draken in right, and Marzo in left. It's an all Little League World Series outfield right now, something that the Trojans will often see.
Wow. You see, I think the inconsistency of pitching in this game is definitely going to prove to be a problem just over the course of the match.
Absolutely, and something right now both teams are
Yeah.
struggling with.
Just finding that sweet spot in their pitch is really becoming an issue for both teams.
Pitch by Duca way outside, goes to 2-1. Trojans pitchers been inconsistent this year. 13 walks coming into today compared with 14 strikeouts. This one hit down the third base line. It's going to roll all the way to the wall, and that means that Romer is going to head into second with a double. It's a problem when you fall behind in the count. It was a hanging fastball, and Romer jumped on it.
Number 3, Gonzalo Barajas.
And now Duca in trouble. Here is Gonzalo Barajas. The senior second baseman
is
also
that?
reached in the first inning.
Oh, that's cool. Is that pad thai? Nice. Like a pad thai
Fouled
salad?
off.
Oh, I think I've had Asian style before. It's like really good though.
And now we have a quick stoppage as Barajas was having a conversation with the manager for the Rebels, James Marvin. Duca looks in on the 0-1. Takes a look back at Barajas. And the changeup is low. Gallagher able to stop it well to prevent any steal. Fences were raised out in center field with the construction of Ellison Field. As you might be able to see, they put new signs up as well. Center is now 351, so that's a little bit higher. 341 out to left center, and then 336 now out to left. And that one inside. 2-1. Once again, Duca's fallen behind. That pad thai does smell very good.
Bet.
Making everyone hungry here, Kaylee Smith.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. Straight from your local Petaluma market, not sponsored. 2 and 2. It's a good idea. All Good Driving School, though, is an official sponsor of Trojan Live.
You would have been all good if you went to All Good Driving School.
I did, and I got my driver's license.
Oh, nice.
True story.
I went to, yeah, I went to Cheryl. Yeah.
The 2-2
Cheryl.
to Barajas.
Yeah, no, she's aight.
Just misses outside, worked it to a full count, and Duca is a reliever. The longer these at-bats go, the shorter his leash is going to be. Runner on second, 1 out. San Lorenzo leading 3-2 here, top of the second, live from Abbey Field, Varsity Baseball. Swing and a miss, the high heat from Duca. That was a strong, aggressive pitch that you want to see.
That's the exact kind of pitching that we want to see. More consistency, just that speed, the sweet spot there. I think Duke is really slipping into his groove now.
Here is Andres Lopez. Playing left field
Hey,
today,
Justin
senior.
Langwell, I just saw your live chat. What's up?
Got 6 viewers tuned in. Appreciate everyone tuning in live here. So bring you, as that one misses high, brings you our first baseball live stream of the season. Don't worry, we will have a few more before the end, and then also any potential NCS playoff games as well. Plus, I'll be on the road a couple times to cover some of the big games. Varsity baseball team phase.
Like
Same with the varsity softball team, which
says
has had a
just
very
hit
strong
enter.
start to the season. As a big swing and a miss there
Don't worry about it.
by Lopez. Our next scheduled live stream for the varsity baseball team, April 20th,
Ooh, that is a
against the Pioneer Prospectors. And then we're also the next week against Healdsburg, and Healdsburg could be a good challenge this year for the Trojans. And Annalee finished 3rd or 4th in SCL last year, returns most of that team. That will also be senior day for the Trojans. NCS round 1, where the Trojans would likely be at home, and then we would live stream that May 22nd. You can check our Trojan Live channel for all of our baseball and softball and all our spring sports coverage. Is another swing and a miss there. Duca has increased the velocity, and right now it's giving the Rebels some trouble. They're struggling to catch up. And he's gone ahead here on Lopez, 1 and 2, trying to finish this inning.
Can I have it? Thank you. Thanks, Jamie. I'll try it. I'll give it a bite.
Ripped, and it's off Duca's stomach. He couldn't field it. And he settles down and gets it to Brown. And he's safe. Oh, really? I thought he got him. He looked out there.
Sure, you know the rest.
Coach Salvatella coming out to argue. And checking on Duca as well. He tried to catch it, but it was ripped right back to him. It hit off his glove. and then hit the stomach. He was able to settle down and in probably great pain, fired it to Brown, and I thought that he got Lopez, but they rule him safe. Looks like he's all right. Jack Gallagher talking to him to make sure. And it's a base hit then. And also,
Chris Giles.
Don't play tic-tac-toe.
Jarek Romar goes from second to third on that base hit. He was going on the two-out crack of the bat. And still 2 down here, and Duca trying to get out of the inning. Here's Chris Giles. Had a double that scored 2. First pitch is high. Yes. Feel free to scroll back in our stream and check the umps calls for stream for some replay. Yeah, slow-mo. That one's in there for a strike. 1-1. It's a quiet afternoon here. Probably about 100 fans made their way out. A light breeze blowing right to left, not with a little impact. There's been some sprinkles throughout the day. It's popped up. Slate makes the catch. Oh, or I'm sorry, Hollett makes the catch. What a play by the second baseman, David Hollett, turning around a la Willie Mays and having the awareness to find the ball and make the basket catch. Back on us. What a great catch by David Hollett there. And that would have been that would have scored a run if he had not made that basket catch, but he's a really versatile player, and he showed off the athleticism there. Trojans needed an athletic play, and he picks them up.
There's a Chevy 4x4 that is blocking a car that was parked near the and it's parked on the sidewalk, so if you can please move that car, that would be great. Thank you.
And Duca able to get out of it without any runs scored, so that was absolutely key. Back on the field. And Newton will head back out for a second inning of work, hoping to make it easier, but it does feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game and come down to who could just survive the barrage of hits with both teams strong hitting. And neither ace is out there. If it was Burwer and Sarah, we'd most likely see a much lower scoring affair.
Second inning for Petaluma.
Leading off here is Garrett Lewis. And we talked about it, Gavin. This freshman batting .667, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 RBIs, 2 doubles, has a walk as well.
Wow.
He has been spectacular for a freshman, hasn't he?
Absolutely. I think that if he can deliver some big runs here, the Trojans can certainly gain the lead.
How do you deal with being on varsity? You're only a freshman. This team is almost entirely upperclassmen, except for him and Brown. And
it must be a really, really odd thing, definitely. But mentally and kind of physically with these guys that are clearly much older than you, much bigger than you. Yeah,
much more experience.
It's weird to compete in that level too at that age. I don't know.
He rips this one past the shortstop, a base hit. And that's how Lewis does it. He just finds holes in the defense. He's so skilled that he could read the ball so well. It's as if it's a beach ball. And he can put it where he wants it, and he gets the leadoff single, and he's putting Newton under pressure again.
Certainly.
David Hollett's been a bright spot so far for the Trojans.
Newton's confidence definitely brought down there by having a hit on his first pitch of this inning there.
Hollett, who's really versatile, gritty, athletic player compared to Dustin Pedroia in the big leagues. But he is batting especially well so far this year, primarily starting at second and .571 batting average so far, including 2 runs, 2 doubles, .857 slugging percentage. That one misses low, 2-0. Bringing up his average from last year when he batted .312, but didn't get as much playing time.
Wow. That is a substantial increase from 312 to 5.7.
And he's pretty short. He's 5'7". He's not the player that you look at and say, oh, that's a baseball player. But much like Pedroia, he's very gritty, finds ways to get things done. He pops this one up to the right fielder, going back all the way to the warning track and making the catch. That one really carried. But flying out was Hull, and there's one down.
Jack Gallagher.
Here is Gallagher batting in the 9 hole. Batting .250 so far, the junior was called up for the NCS playoff game against San Lorenzo and also against Ukiah, but did not play. Key to get that experience often for the underclassmen is the off speed is nasty and in there, and that's been the best pitch so far for Noon. It feels like if he can get some consistency on his fastball and he can mix in the off speed, he has a chance to put the Trojans on the back foot.
That pitch there was a smooth arc, looked particularly difficult to hit.
Goes off speed again though, and that one misses. 1-1. Actually played on the same Little League team as Jack Gallagher.
Wow.
Certainly the top player on that team, including hitting 3 home runs in 1 game.
That's truly spectacular.
That misses. 2-1. One of the nicest guys you'll meet. So many of these players are hard workers that came here for baseball. They love baseball. And Petaluma has developed into one of the stronger baseball programs in Sonoma County. That one is fouled back. 2-2.
Yeah, it certainly is so great to see such a dedication for the sport here.
Absolutely. And obviously, I think the Little League World Series were so instrumental in that. Young kids saw players that they knew on TV, national television, playing. As Gallagher was late on that, gets it to short. They throw it back to first to check on Lewis, who gets back 2 down. What impact do you think that had, the Little League World Series, on baseball specifically for the community?
Well, I think it definitely brought a lot more attention to this community of baseball and brought a lot more opportunity for funding, especially in the baseball program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and especially like if you got the high school program thinking like, well, we have these kids that were 3rd in the world, and they're going to be coming to our school or something like that to play baseball. We got to set up our program or something. I think it could probably fuel improvements in the program or just strengthening the program in general.
And Lewis is thrown out. That was not. He did not have a good break on that one, and he was thrown out easily. So that will end the inning, but it does mean that Marza is going to be able to lead off in the 3rd. We'll head to the top of the 3rd. Duca will come back to pitch again, and the Trojans trailing 3-2 here as we head to the 3rd inning. There's certainly a lot of talent on this team. We talked about the high expectations that the Trojans are dealing with and that they come in as SCL favorites, and that's not easy, but this has been a program that has really developed. 2nd year for head coach Jim Salvatella, former JV coach at Casa Grande. And speaking of Casa Grande, they have reaped the benefits as well. They were at once ranked 3rd in the state last year. They won MBL. They were seeded 1st in NCS, and they lost in the championship game here to Arroyo in Division II finals of NCS. So they're going to be really good again, and they will play later on in the season. Their game was scheduled for last Saturday, but it was rained out and will be announced at a later date when that game will happen.
Casa Grande also a powerhouse in the Sonoma County area for baseball, definitely. I know a couple kids on the Casa Grande varsity team. Very, very good players.
Yes. And one of those players, Spencer Torkelson, who was on the team last year, now at Arizona State, back on field. now at Arizona State, and he was just voted the Pac-12 Player of the Week. He is playing very well for the Sun Devils.
That is
back on the field.
No?
Oh, right.
Oh, for sure.
They are changing cameras for
batteries.
just a moment, so we're going to do a quick radio call until they have that. Leading off for San Lorenzo is Philip Bodas. First pitch is high from Duca. Who's getting probably going to be the longest outing of his career. We'll see how long Coach Shelvatello rides him. This one is popped up to left field, and it falls. A base hit. In front of Marzo, never had a chance. And leadoff single once again for San Lorenzo, and they just keep on getting runners on base and making every inning so stressful for the Trojans. It's going to be hard. We will get that camera back up for you in just a minute. We got it?
Almost?
Okay. Almost.
Okay. Well,
Here is Alex Marquez batting at 7th. Senior first baseman. So much experience. The San Lorenzo team, they're going to lay down a bunt. Duca fields it well. Oh, and he underhanded it to Brown. And it is an out. It slipped out of his hand while he was throwing it, and it bounced to Brown, who was able to handle it well. And they just get Marquez in time. Meanwhile, moving to second is Bodas moves to second, so now runner on second and 1 out. And here is Logan Van Hale, the junior catcher. San Lorenzo 2-1 on the season, coming off a 3-0 victory yesterday. First pitch outside from Duca, 1-0. Takes a look back at Bodas and settles back in. That's that. Takes another look back, and now the pitch is crushed. A base hit.
Another low ball.
Bodas will hold at third. So runners on the corners now, and 1 out. As the off speed by Duca was right over the middle of the plate, and it was crushed by Bodas, who was waiting on it. And we have the camera back? No? Do we have it back, Kaylee? We do, okay. So we are back on the field. Apologies for that. Top of the third here, 1 out. Can you, did it die? First pitch is popped up. Marzo drifting over, now in foul territory, makes the catch, and tagging easily and scoring is Philip Bodas. 2 down, but San Lorenzo has taken a lead, or extended their lead to 4-2. So that's as this one is popped up.
High ball.
Slate running back into no man's land. It falls. Now running to third and safe.
Ooh, that was an excellent catch, although it wasn't safe. But
Is Van Hale. Dangerous play by Van Hale, who'd been at second.
Number 9,
Just scamper around to third on the blooper, and now runners on the corners again. And this is the gutsy play by San Lorenzo, finding ways to score runs. Had a leadoff single, then they bunted, and then advanced on a fielder's choice, and then the sac fly, you score, and just finding ways to put runs on the board, and that's what they've done. They've gone 1 across, trying to get more. This is popped up.
That's a high ball there.
Slate drifting over. Lewis looking on as well, and Slate's going to make the catch. but it was just the gutsy run put on the board, and that's the issue. A leadoff single. The San Lorenzo team so experienced, they know how to score and put runs, and they further their lead.
They understand that
4-2.
they don't need it doesn't really matter about the outs, it matters about the score there. So if you can sacrifice an out for a run there, you should go for it.
Duca has a couple pitches I think he'd like back that have been hanging, and San Lorenzo's taking advantage of it. And most of the time he's been pretty consistent, but not enough so far. And right now trailing 4-2, they will get the top of the order. And Marzo and Slate, who had two singles in the first inning, as Gavin's about to dig into what looks like a delicious hot dog. Snack Shack in full force here today on this Saturday afternoon, with the sun now peeking out behind the clouds and the rain long gone. Meanwhile, Mario Noon coming off a scoreless second. He was able to get out of the inning. Are we back on the field? Okay. Mario Noon able to get out of a scoreless second, and you wonder if he can improve his confidence. His pitching and his control, though, has been rather iffy so far on this Saturday afternoon matinee.
Can I give a quick blow-by-blow of the dog? So, you see, the bun is quite, it's like, so the bun
No.
quite well, and like you got that nice toast, so it's not like really super chewy, right? It's got like a good crust on the outside.
Off the bottom of the third inning for Petaluma.
It's not rock hard.
Left fielder number
like that.
12, Danny
We got
Marzo.
a sweet Vlasic relish paired with a classic Heinz ketchup over all beef dog cooked to perfection there. That's what you need for a good ball game. That's the spirit of America.
It's very true. That's your food kitchen report with Gavin Newell. Back on field. Back on field. Okay. So Marzo will dig in to lead off this third. Trojans trailing by 2. Marzo led off the first inning with a base hit. Takes this first pitch, pops it up. Second baseman drifting over and making the catch. San Lorenzo's been clean so far. Fielding-wise are Chega with the catch, and they are an experienced senior team. They're not going to make any easy mistakes. They've done a good job. Slate will dig in, and he's coming off a base hit as well, so he has to be happy with that, as he been in a little bit of a slump. Also a member of the Little League World Series team. He takes the first pitch and fouls it back. Oh, and 1. 1 out, nobody on. Trojans trail 4-2 here live from Abbey Field. High school varsity baseball on Trojan Live. That one missing outside. 1-1. That one is driven to right, and making a nice running catch for 2 down.
Thank you. No, wait, never mind. It's good. It's good.
Is
Don't worry about it.
Torres.
You're doing wonderful, Cody.
And quickly 2 down here for Noon. This has to be a big boon for his confidence. Not a lot going in this inning, and you're facing the top of the order. Here is Andraken. He walked his first at bat. He's only pitched 2 innings, but they were just against Redwood on Tuesday, so I don't know if Coach Shelvatella is going to go to him after Duca is done. Duca's pitched 2 1/3, which is about a quarter of what he pitched last year, as Andraken drives this one to right, looking up, and it's off the bottom of the fence. Andraken's going to have to settle for 1. It got out there quickly, and it was hard to see where the ball was bouncing. It pretty much wedged into the bottom of the fence there, but he drew that one a good 320 feet. And here is Sam Brown now, trying to keep the line moving for the Trojans. think Noon's confidence right now, though, is higher. He's looked a lot more confident with his pitches and his pitching display, and that nasty off speed is certainly his go-to pitch, and then he got Brown to go and swing at it. Brown struck out his first at bat. Oh, 1.
Can we attach a horn?
Just got that one off the end of the bat. They'll throw to second, and the inning is over. Trojans get 1 hit, leave 1 on, and we're on to the 4th. It's the San Lorenzo Rebels 4, the Petaluma Trojans 2. Noon certainly has gained confidence the last 2 innings here, and it has helped San Lorenzo get out of things. Meanwhile, the Trojans are relying on Jake Duca right now, and they're going to need him to step up and continue to shut them down if the Trojans want to hang around. They've shown the...
If they continue a strong pitching game, sorry to cut you off there. If they continue a strong pitching game throughout these next couple innings, I feel like they can make a huge difference in this game, definitely.
They've shown the ability, absolutely, to hang around, stay scrappy, and they've come back a couple times already this season, so they're going to need to do that again, and they did it last year as well when they were 18-10 in SCL, 10-2 overall, finished second in SCL, and had a very successful season of a team largely comprised of juniors who are mostly back this year. They do lose most of their bullpen, which is their key losses from last year. They also lose Captain Logan Douglas and a couple other strong hitters, Austin Peretti, name a few.
I do think that they have enough returning talent, though, to compensate for that.
Certainly feels like it. San Lorenzo showed his experience and strong play, though they have been mistake-free and gritty and were able to jump on Gehring early, added another one in the 3rd, and lead 4-2.
San Lorenzo. Shortstop, number 3, Gonzalo Barajas.
Gonzalo Barajas will dig in for his 3rd plate appearance already here in the 4th inning. Struck out and has a base hit. The senior second baseman. Grounds this down the line, and fair! Rolling all the way to the bullpen, and a double. San Lorenzo has found the holes in the infield and the outfield today.
Andres Lopez.
And Barajas has a 2-hit day. And every single inning, Gavin, San Lorenzo has led off with a base hit.
It's definitely a strong showing from them.
The Rebels. Yeah, can't allow that if you're the Trojans. That one is low. Andres Lopez digging in. One out. And Duca catches it, throws back to second, double play. Great play by Jake Duca. Barajas was frozen there. He had no chance at getting back. And now the dangerous Chris Giles, who had a double, a 2 RBI double in the 1st, will dig in with nobody on and 2 out. Duca had that comebacker before that hit him in the stomach. Didn't seem to affect him, and they're able to make the great play. Throw back, and the Trojans have been much stronger fielding this year than last year. Just 2 errors this year. Last year they had 46 errors and a .944% fielding percentage. Not great. It was an issue in a couple games. Cost them both the first 2 times they played Annalee in the regular season was consequential. One and one. That one inside. 2-1. Key inning would be key here for Duca. Keep that pitching count down and go as far as possible. 3 games in the next week for the Trojans. That one high over Gallagher's head, but there's no one on base anymore, so it's a moot point. 3-1. Trojans have also caught 2 out of the 6 trying to steal bases, so Gallagher's been strong behind the plate. Has played catcher almost the entire time, the junior, and has really done a great job. That one misses high, and
Number 4, Philip Botus.
yeah, Giles was a strong player last year, caused issues for San Lorenzo. A nice walk there and extends the inning. Philip Botus scored that run in the 3rd. After he reached on a base hit, he's back up again, grounds it to Slate. He'll toss to Holland at second. Inning over, and we have reached the bottom of the 4th. San Lorenzo 4, Petaluma 2. It's been a tight one so far between these two teams. Thought it might be high scoring, but both Newton and Duca have really started to settle in, and it seems like it will be a little bit more low scoring. In other sports news, we have the beautiful new Ellison Field under completion. Are we back on us? No idea. The beautiful new Ellison Field almost completely completed. We've had a couple lacrosse games. We had a soccer game a couple weeks ago. It really is looking beautiful, isn't it?
It's going to be very exciting once football season goes back full swing in the fall. That really brings out the best of Ellison Field days.
Yeah, and the purple end zones look great. Artificial turf now, so going to be played throughout the entire season. Rain or any type of conditions, don't have to worry about mud at all. You're in our frame, Kaylee.
On a personal note, I enjoy playing on turf. It's not really the best material.
Mhm.
I do understand, like,
Yeah.
for
And
soccer and lacrosse.
I think normal turf is definitely more comfortable, but it's just the reality if soccer is going to be played in the winter, there is no home field for soccer if you're not going to have artificial turf. And I think they got the cork infield, which is relatively comfortable to play in.
For Petaluma, designated hitter, number 15.
Back on field.
Smith.
Bradley Smith will dig in for the Trojans. Bottom of the 4th. Smith 0 for 1. How many viewers we got? 7 viewers. Appreciate everyone tuning in here live from Abbey Field. San Lorenzo 2-1 on the season. Trojans 1-1-1. Though that tie to Redwood will be finished at a later date. They ran out of daylight on Tuesday night. That misses outside. 2-0 to the big senior. 6'3", 218 pounds. Batting .300 so far this year. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 home runs. He does strike out a lot, but leads to high slugging percentages, but low on base percentages. .900 slugging percentage so far this year. .364 batting average last year. As the ump is going to have a conversation with Newton. Not sure what that's all about. 2-1. Gavin, so when you everyone hears that when you're saying this. Smith fouls it off. 2-2. And with Ellison Field being renovated, it they decided to raise those fences out in center field here. And behind those center field fences are now the new high jump and pole vault areas for the track team. That one gets by the catcher on the 2-2, but the strong alert play to throw it to first by Barajas, and there is one down.
Number 3, Kempton, Brandis.
Almost a nice first base there, but thanks to quick thinking on the other team, they were able to kind of pull through there.
Brandis DHing today. He flied out his first at bat in the second. First pitch is low and outside. Noon settled into a rhythm here, though, and it's hoped that he hasn't had to deal with too much trouble on the base pass. Swing and a miss there by Brandis, and can be a little bit too aggressive at times. Long, lanky player. It's very athletically skilled. It's not just the new Ellison Field, but they've also added additional amenities around it, including a new snack shack, a new ticket stand, which is really nice. The entranceway is much nicer. As Brandis has popped this up into center, sky high, the catch is made. And there's 2 down.
Number 14.
New trees as well. Really, besides the stands, everything was completely remodeled around Ellison Field. It's more accessible now. It really is. And if you haven't seen it yet, I believe it was Thursday, we had a little story taking a further look at Ellison Field. You can catch video of all its new amenities and highly encourage everyone coming out to it.
Although from like an outsider view, it would seem strange to drop $6 million on a field for a school that definitely needs a lot more things in, like a new stage or like a new bathrooms. There was a door that I think was burned down a while ago.
What?
But then when you actually explore the field and you look at it, you see the quality. You can definitely see the quality. It's tangible, it's there, and it's definitely worth the $6 million price tag.
1-1. Swing and a miss by Lewis. Reached on a base hit in the second. The freshman feels like he just constantly gets base hits. Thank you. And that one takes low, 2-2. And as we were anticipating, Nick Andrakin is now warming up in the Trojan bullpen. So, probably be it for Duca, who pitched 3 1/3 quite valiantly. He only pitched 8 1/3 last year, so he almost half of what he pitched all last year. And he really got better as it went on, as that one is fouled into all sorts of areas of cars and narrowly avoided them. There is true danger to cars behind the backfield as Lewis crushes this one, but he got under it. Giles over, makes the catch, and that was the easiest inning by far for Noon. 1, 2, 3. He has really settled into a rhythm and shut down this Trojan batting order. Meanwhile, Nick Andrakin will take the ball as we have a pitching change here at Abbey Field. San Lorenzo Rebels 4, Petaluma Trojans 2. Upcoming schedule for the Trojans, taking on Maria Carrillo here at home on Tuesday. You mentioned they're at Bella Vista, that's in Sacramento on Saturday, one of the top teams in the state. And then SCL play starts. They're at Pioneer on the 20th, at Sonoma Valley, who finished 3rd in SCL last year at the 23rd. And then it's the prestigious Boris Classic, the first time they've been invited to the de facto state championship, NorCal State Championship. It's held at Sacramento State. This is the 5th year of its existence by acclaimed agent Scott Boris. And they'll open against Wood Creek. Casa Grande will also be there as well. And the winner of that is really considered the state champion of baseball. The winner will face the SoCal State champion later on in the year. And there is no state CAF baseball championship because by the time NCS finishes, its graduation has happened and it's summer, so there's not time. However, next year they are moving up that schedule, so next year there will be a state championship, I presume, in baseball. And
as we all know, Griffin,
CAF has been
baseball is a numbers game, Griffin. Baseball is a numbers game,
Number 20,
and I believe
Alex
that
Marquez.
Petaluma has the numbers to win, so let's wish them good luck in the next coming innings.
CAF has been expanding those state championships, soccer state championships, for the first time this year. Top of the 5th here, San Lorenzo leading 4-2, and AJ Marquez, the senior first baseman, digs in. 1-0. And Andrakin, we thought would take the ball. We weren't sure how soon, and Duca really pitched valiantly, got a lot of outs, and means that probably only 3 innings are necessary for Andrakin, who's got a rush to get that chopper. He does, and 1 down. He's not the most nimble player, but was able to get to it.
Number 7, Logan Van Hill.
And Andrakin started last year and pitched very well for the Trojans. Was sort of surprised that he wasn't taken back as a starter overall. Led the Trojans in ERA, starters in an ERA, with a 2.40 ERA, 3-2 overall. 4 games started, 23 innings pitched, 14 hits given up, 20 strikeouts. Had the 3rd most pitches of anybody on the Trojans, behind only Marzo and Burwer, the other 2 starters. First pitch is fouled back by Logan Van Hall, junior catcher, the only junior that we've seen today even play for San Lorenzo. That is how experienced they are.
San Lorenzo is clearly taking a more tactical approach to baseball. It's really interesting to see how they play.
Grounded to Slate, has plenty of time, 2 down. And a good start for Andrakin to build up his confidence. And
Number 2, Raul Archiga.
worked into a much low-scoring game than we thought, and that additional run that San Lorenzo was able to eke across in the 3rd right now is so key. Raul Archiga in the 9-hole. Batting next, with Andrakin, who had previously played in right, caused a shift for the Trojans, so Smith moved over into right field, and Marzo stays in left, so Brandis is now in center out of the DH, meaning probably Gottschall will take over in the DH position, but we'll have to wait to see. 2 outs, nobody on. And the quicker Andrakin could go, the better, considering he just pitched on Tuesday, which was his first appearance of the season. And he was strong in that. No earned runs allowed.
He's certainly putting out a stronger early showing than a lot of the pitchers previous in this game for their first showing of the game. Definitely.
Absolutely. Only 1 hit allowed in that appearance against a good Redwood team on Tuesday. This one is chopped to short to Slade, who bobbled it. And it got past Brown. Slade had to rush the throw, and that means that Archega will get to 2nd on the air. Normally reliable Porter Slate, but has 1 error this year, and he did have 6 errors last year. And just because I think he had the bobble there, he rushed the throw a little bit, trying to get it in time, and that caused a wild throw outside. Brown couldn't get to it, and San Lorenzo keeps the inning going. Back to the top of the order, and Christian Torres. He flied out in the 1st and got a base hit in the 3rd inning.
Clearly one of their stronger hitters now. Let's see if Draken can get ahead of him.
That pitch is low. Or I'm sorry, that's in there. 0-1. Lorenzo can't be too deep pitching-wise as they played just yesterday against San Leandro, a 3-0 victory. Torres has been on a tear so far this year, batting .455. 3 runs scored, 5 hits, 2 doubles as well. Big swing and a miss there. And 0-2. And Draken's got a great fastball, and it can be hard to catch up with. Great speed. He also has an ability to get some movement on his off speed. It can really cause batters trouble when he's on. 0-2 is chopped foul. San Lorenzo now starting to get some work on in its bullpen. We'll see how much longer Newton can go, though he's starting to really get into a good rhythm. He's gone 5 innings strong, 2 runs allowed, and he's really pitched his best baseball the last couple innings. Swing and a miss, but it gets by Gallagher. And Archega will reach first base on the strikeout. It was a low, nasty pitch, and it got Archega to swing, but it was very hard for Gallagher to get to it. Can't really blame him, and it got all the way to the backstop, and Archega reached easily. Or, I'm sorry, Torres reached easily while Archega moves to third. Now runners on the corners. A chance for San Lorenzo to eke across another run here just to extend the lead with Jarek Romer, who's 1 for 3 today, digging in. That misses outside. Oh, I'm sorry, in there. Strike zones are pretty large today, which has helped out the pitchers. 0-1. Starting to develop into late afternoon here at Abbey Field. It's an important game. Pitch was high, and the throw gets by Slate, and a run will score. Archega scores. It makes it 5-2. Gallagher probably should have never thrown that baseball because that really never had a chance with the off speed. And the speedy Torres was going to reach easily, and Slade and Hollett did not communicate well, and that got past both of them. And they've eked across another run on what seemed like it was going to be an easy inning for Andraken, and it's 5-2 now. Trojans will have to come from behind once again against the Rebels. That one catches the outside corner. 2-2 now. Nearly did it last year in March. We're down early in that 12-11 loss to San Lorenzo, but then blew the lead late against the Rebels. In the NCS playoff game, they were up early, and San Lorenzo chipped away back, as that one is fouled straight back. But it was a valiant relief pitching effort from Matthias Lipsy after Blake Burrer's arm. He strained his arm, and Lipsy had to come in and pitch longer than he'd ever pitched before in his career. And the Trojans were able to hold on for the 5-4 victory to move on to the quarterfinals of NCS, where they fell to Ukiah. Swing and a miss there. That's the end of the inning. Romar strikes out, but the Trojans add, or the Rebels add another run, and the deficit increases 5-2. Newton heading back out to the mound. It looks, no, he's not. He's headed back out there, but not to the mound. So we will see a pitching change, I believe, for the Rebels as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Noon pitched very well for the Rebels. Now the Trojans face a new pitcher, and they picked on Noon early, scored a couple runs. Feels like they might need to do the same thing against a pitcher that's just settling in. Alex Marquez, the senior who had been playing first base, has appeared once, and it did not go well for him. He pitched 2 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, walked 1, struck out 2, and he faced 8 batters on and only pitched 10 pitches. So that's not a good sign of leaving balls right over the plate. So the Trojans might need to pick on him early and often. Trojan bats have been iffy so far today, and scored 2 early, both runs in that first inning, but have not scored since. Noon really pitched valiantly after that. In other spring sports, the softball team, they are really looking good so far this year. They defeated a strong Marin Catholic team 4-0 in their season opener on Tuesday. It was a dominant pitching performance, and the Trojans were able to get to one of the top pitchers in all of California who no-hit Casa earlier in the week. They faced Montgomery on Monday. They've had a couple games rained out, so they haven't got a lot of playing time, but they are the heavy favorites in SCL and look like they have a chance to do something special this year in NCS with an even more experienced roster than this baseball team. We'll have full coverage of them, including a couple live streams on the schedule for them. Their 2 top games of the season will be against Sonoma and Annalee in SCL, and we will be live streaming both of those. Those are both in late April, early May. I think the Sonoma game's in late April and the Annalee game in early May. So do not miss those as well. If you subscribe to our channel, you get an email whenever we go live. So that's how you'll never miss a Trojan live stream or any other posts that we do. Head on the road to cover baseball, softball, lacrosse, or anything else. You can check it out there. Hollett has fouled that off out of play down the third baseline. 0-1. Hollett 0 for 2 today, the second baseman. I went outside. No, I'm sorry. Caught the outside corner. Good off speed by Marquez, and that one was low. Bounced away. 1-2 to Hollett. Gallagher on deck, and then the top of the order with Marzo. Yeah, he was pitching very well, but he probably had reached close to his limit on pitches. That wouldn't miss. Not pitched well his first appearance, but seen some good stuff so far. 2-2 now. Van Hal, the junior, is calling the signals behind the plate for the Rebels. This one is grounded to second. 1 out. And Trojans have 8 more outs here right now to try to get something going.
Now batting catcher, number 10, Jack Gallagher.
Trojans in the white, purple pinstripes, while the Rebels in the gray with the red piping. This early March Saturday afternoon. One more week until spring break here at Petaluma High School as that one misses outside. clean off.
Crank the gain, please.
Kaylee.
Well, they're working. I don't think they're playing games.
Jamie's not even supposed to be here. No, she signed up for setup, so she's supposed to leave after that.
Takedown.
I do.
Just pulling up here in 20 minutes. I'll tell him to come now.
2 and 1.
Miserable. I'm joking.
You can leave.
What?
You can leave.
I can leave. No, Griffin, I gotta see this through.
2-2. Gallagher fouls it straight back.
So are you enjoying the game?
Marquez pitching well for the Rebels.
Yes.
Dives low. Payoff pitch coming up.
Marquez does seem to be a fan of the low ball.
Girls lacrosse team
Marquez
playing
does.
well.
Sorry.
Girls
Yes.
lacrosse team playing well as well, undefeated so far. Boys lacrosse team 1-1, coming off loss to Powerhouse Oak Ridge. That one misses high. It's good at bat from Gallagher. Was really patient there. Gets the walk. Second walk of the season for Gallagher. And back to the top of the order and Marzo, and that's
number 12, Danny Marzo.
the Trojans wanted. Runners on base with the
Danny
top
Marzo
hitters
up.
coming up.
Up now. What he lacks in height, he makes up for in batting potential.
Marzo 1 and 2. Marzo is the shortest
I'm
player
joking.
on the Trojans at 5'5". I was shocked when I saw that. Is he really that short? But he's really is. He certainly does make up for that, though, with his amazing skill.
He definitely is
One of the stars on the Little League World Series team, including a walk-off home run to beat Piscataway, New Jersey, in an elimination game. Kept their hopes alive. A swing and the miss there, though. And he's quickly down 0-2 and in the hole.
You know, I did think the conclusion of the World Series was a bit, not so much disheartening, but a repeat of history. It's always strange to see America fall to the East again and again. You know? What?
1 and 2.
What? No. I was just talking about the World Series. Because we lost to
Gavin. That one is low.
another low pitch.
I will write an email to Knox saying how you should lose credit for this. It's ridiculous, Jay. Yeah, she's not doing anything. She's playing games.
I'm not playing.
Okay, you're watching Cody play games. I don't care. That one is grounded into the hole at second, and Marzo has reached 2 on, 1 out, and now a really good threat here with Porter Slate. Good patience by Marzo, too. He's found his pitch. Marquez really has pitched well, but he's susceptible at the same time and has holes. Jamie, please switch with Kaylee.
Another strong showing from Kodak Black's Cody and
Porter Slate hoping to get a huge hit for the Trojans here.
You can't hear my mic? No, my mic's off, or it's dead. Oh, cool, okay. Thank you.
0-1. This one is hit into center. Gallagher will hold it third, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Now this is a great position for the Trojans to be in. This bases loaded, 1 out. They have
Now
a
batting
lot of
pitcher
potential
number
here.
16, Nick Andraken.
Slate.
With a little luck, we could be seeing a grand slam here. I don't know if that's possible, but I think that could definitely be a great thing for the Trojans at this point. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Would give them the lead, trailing by 3 after Slate's base hit. And Andrakin was thinking big there. He fouls it back. Bounces off a car. And that's going to leave a dent, unfortunately. How many viewers we got?
We have, yeah.
Appreciate everyone tuning in here live from Abbey Field. You can check in all of our other sports coverages, and Draken fouls one off to nearly the same spot, except it ricochets off a different truck this time. And it's quickly 0-2, and you just want to get at least a sac fly here to score a run. He's been thinking big, but maybe too big. And just have to make contact now. Off speed is low. One and two.
A steely-eyed gaze. There certainly is an art to the baseball steely-eyed gaze, and I think that few really master it.
And Draken
Oh,
fouls it
foul
off
ball.
again.
Looks like it's out to another beautiful car.
Third car, and Draken is hit.
Excellent. He's
I hope he has good
3-0
insurance.
for hitting cars. Are baseball players liable for hitting cars? I don't know.
Luckily, Andraken's a senior, so he's taken business class. I was a little worried for Garrett Lewis, considering he probably hasn't finished his semester of business class yet. He's only a freshman.
That is a shame.
That one misses outside. 2-2. Good battle by Andraken. Marquez looking in, setting outside, and crushing it up the middle, diving the second baseman, can't get to it.
Oh my
Gallagher
goodness.
will score. Marzo holds it third. It's an RBI base hit for Nick Andraken, and it's 5-3.
That is a good showing from them, yeah.
Well, Van Hal was shedding up outside, but it did not get there, and Andraken poked it up the middle. Force. A walk by Gallagher, and then 3 straight base hits. And the Trojans have cut it to 2. Here comes manager James Marvin to have a conversation with his senior pitcher. Meanwhile, sophomore Sam Brown will wait in a big moment for him. He came through last year a couple times when the Trojans needed him. Had an outstanding season as only a freshman. And he's played well so far this year, both fielding and hitting-wise. Brown hit 300 last year, including 10 runs, 9 RBIs. No RBIs so far this year, but a 400 on-base percentage, and looking for a big moment again. Long conversation at the mound. But Marquez will remain there.
They're clearly planning something.
And Marquez is just, he's had some good movement. There's been long, tough battles, but he's just had a couple pitches that he'd want back. And Brown has a chance to really turn around this Trojan season with this at-bat. Certainly going to be a big one for their confidence.
A good hit from Brown here could really turn the game around.
Curve misses outside. Marquez holds his hand to his face in disbelief. And he's fallen behind again, 1-0. Brown pops it sky high. This should be enough to tag. Giles back a couple steps from the warning track. And easily scoring is Marzo. It's exactly
Marzo
what
bringing
you
in
want to
another
do.
point. Very close to tying up the game here. I think that this inning might be where the Trojans catch up.
Right fielder, number 15, Bradley Smith.
Here's Bradley Smith with 2 down. They have cut the lead down to 1 here in this 2-run 5th. Smith trying to tie it up now. A base hit could do that with a speedy Slate at second. And Draken at first. Marquez steps off.
Freeman.
Took a look back at Slade, who added a long leadoff, and the second baseman is hanging around.
With first and second loaded, this could be an interesting play from the Trojans.
Pitch is high.
What?
7-inning ball game.
Which inning is it currently?
Bottom of the 5th.
Bottom of the 5th.
San Lorenzo leading 5-4 here from Abbey Field live.
I really wanted to say bottom of the
Trojan
ninth, but bottom of the ninth.
And
Really?
Smith fouls it off.
Yeah,
This
that's
time,
stupid.
no
It's not bottom of
cars
the
are
ninth.
harmed. But he's
Bottom of
behind
the
1
ninth.
and 2.
Bases loaded. Yeah. No, it's too long.
That one gets by the catcher. Both runners will advance. It took a pinball around the backstop. A wild pitch from Marquez. There was never really a good chance for Van Hale to get that one. It was way outside.
Good thing you still
And
have 3 Cactus lives.
Both runners now in scoring position on the 2-2. A base hit by Smith could give the Trojans the lead. But 2 outs. Trojans could certainly be trailing heading into the 6th. High, and he's worked it to a full count. Big payoff pitch up coming to
Is
Bradley
next Steve?
Smith. Nicknamed Big Cat. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with the high heat. And San Lorenzo gets out of the inning.
Closing out the 5th inning.
Well, the Trojans do get 2, Gavin, and that was big to cut into the lead. And Draken is a strong pitcher, and he pitched relatively well in that 5th, even though they did get across that run. Not really a fault of his, so the Trojans are hanging around here, and with a run, they are right there to try to tie this game up.
Absolutely. I think that if the Trojans, if they can shut them out in this next inning here and then follow up with a strong batting inning, I think that we're poised for a great 7th inning.
So Andraken will come in for his 2nd inning of pitching, and San Lorenzo's bullpen, I don't know where they look right now because Marquez did not pitch well, and he did face the top of the order for the Trojans, but the Trojans' bat certainly heated up there. They're looking for a key win here. The sun really starting to come out here and shine on Abbey Field, maybe shining as a good omen for the Trojans, though right into our faces nonetheless.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really nice.
The sunglasses will start to come out.
Yes.
Leading off for San Lorenzo will be Gonzalo Barajas. Back on field, please.
Leading off the top of the 6th inning for San Lorenzo. Shortstop, number 3, Gonzalo Barajas.
Shortstop Barajas batting .222 on the year. 4 RBIs and a triple. So far today, base hit, fly out, a strikeout. And he scored. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. That misses high, so 1-2 now.
Oh no.
And that one catches the bottom of the strike zone. Barras is left looking.
13, Andres
Second strikeout so far
Lopez.
for today for the Rebels. Here's Andres Lopez batting in the 4th spot for the Rebels. And that one catches the bottom of the strike zone. It's a long strike zone right now for the ump for this afternoon's game. Off speed is inside. 1-1. That was nasty nonetheless. It nearly got back around to the strike zone, and it looked like it was close to hitting Barajas at first. That one is low and away. Two and one. That misses well, and now Endraken behind 3-1. Scoreboard in your top left-hand corner for your reference as well. And that one misses, and Draken has walked Barajas. 1 on, 1 out.
Number 17, Chris Giles.
Here is Chris Giles, who's the most dangerous hitter on this Rebels team. Giles with a double today. 2 RBI double in that first inning. A disastrous inning for Garrett Gehring, who started this one 2 hours ago, and it did not go well for him. Only got 2 outs in that one. Jake Duca came in and pitched 3 1/3. Very strong innings. Only gave up a run. And Draken came in last inning, gave up a run, but he's been pretty strong. I mean, he's having a little bit trouble with his control right now. He's falling behind 1-0. Throw back. Barajas gets back in time. 1-0. This one is hit hard by Giles into the gap and right, and it gets by Smith, and it will turn into a double. It was a tough hop for Smith, who was coming at it from a strange angle. It skipped by him, and it had allowed Barajas to pick up 1 extra base.
Botus.
And now with Philip Botus coming up, there's runners at 2nd and 3rd, and only 1 out.
Dangerous situation here for Drake, and if he doesn't pull through with these outs, then the Trojans could fall behind even more and face a gripping 6th and 7th inning.
Would be tough for them after they were able to put across 2 last inning. First pitch is popped up. Gallagher near the fence makes the nice catch. 2 down. Gallagher so strong defensively behind the plate.
Number 20, Alex Marquez.
And Gallagher balances the hard work of he takes AP classes and is an athlete as well. What was that challenge like, Gavin?
Well, I don't know. I can kind of attest that challenge, but clearly not on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm taking AP World History as well as honors, trigonometry, and some other advanced classes. But balancing school and sports is
You swimming?
Yeah, I'm varsity. 2nd year.
1-0. That pitch is low. That one misses too, and Draken's having trouble with his control right now. And when you get into that issue, if you can get something over the strike zone, you can often just really take advantage of it. The pitcher Marquez ahead in the count. Time is called. So much a mental game, as it often can be for a lot of sports. 2-1. So that one catches the outside corner. Swing and a miss there. Nasty changeup. Got Marquez chasing, and it is 2-2. Misses outside, 3-2. Big payoff pitch here for Drake and trying to end the inning. A walk would load the bases. The set, the pitch. He got him on the outside corner. Marquez was heading to first, but a nasty changeup got him looking. And they survived that inning without allowing any runs. That was key there for the Trojans, wasn't it?
Now this will allow them to pull through in possibly this next batting inning here and lead to a very tense 7th inning.
Hey, Jamie, could you go help Cameron switch the camera? Thank you. So 5-4, and the Trojans only need one more run to tie this one up.
2 runs to win.
And this would be once again another comeback for them. They typically haven't done it this late this year, but they found a way to do it. Can they finish it off, though, and get a victory here in this one? If we do go to extras, lighting is not going to be an issue for a few more hours here, as it is sunny and an afternoon matinee game. So not like on Tuesday. That game didn't start until 3:30.
Definitely a shame for that. But I feel if the Trojans here can pull off the 2 runs needed to gain the lead back from the Rebels, then I believe that the 7th inning, if Drake can deliver another shutdown inning there, then I think that we'll be at the field.
What does Draken's approach, what does the Trojans' batter's approach need to be facing Marquez, who was pretty shaky in his first inning of pitching?
I don't know. I think it's really just kind of not really outsmart it. You kind of just have to fake him out, you know? That's the whole thing of baseball. It's all the relationship between the batter and the pitcher.
Yes.
The main 2 forces.
Absolutely. So the Trojans will try to win the game of cat and mouse. We are switching batteries once again. We got it back? Not yet? He's not done, Jamie. He's not done. So Brandis is digging in. We will try to get that camera back for you in just a moment. Tell me when you got it. So Marquez's first pitch is inside, 1-0 here. Bottom of the 6th, San Lorenzo leading 5-4. Live from Abbey Field. It's a key game between 2 elite squads. Is it on? Swing and a miss by Brandis. And he's 0-2.
Yes. Oh, hey, Zachary Spain. I'm here with Griffin Epstein. Hi, I'm Griffin Epstein. Resident Griffin. I run sports department. Oh, wow.
Now batting, third baseman, number 14, Garrett Lewis.
Oh, Cody, are you leaving? Oh, no, never mind. Cool. Oh, nice, nice. Ooh, a high shot from number 14 there. Going out and about and all around. Up, down, turn around.
Second baseman, number 7, David.
Very, very, very interesting play there. Here we go. Bases are fully empty except for first base, which has a person on it. If number 7 can pull through with a little... what? Oh. I think my microphone may be dead. Oh, you got me? Okay. So, in terms of this game, it's baseball. Rule number 1. Rule nombre uno. Oh, and a long ball off the base.
Yeah, is he still talking over there?
I think he is. Oh, cool. He's probably narrating. Ooh, and a low ball to center field there, causing a and he almost had it. Shucks. Sorry, number 7. Maybe next year.
Now batting, catcher, number 10, Jack Gallagher.
The non-believer. What? I know. I'm providing commentary. So, Jack Gallagher here, standing on the batting circle.
We have 7 viewers. You're in the frames.
Okay, so.
It's not on us, right?
Ooh, that is a long ball from Jack Gallagher. Ah, but it is picked off.
It's okay.
And with that run, the Trojans tie up the game. That's just quite crazy. No.
We should be checking right now. It's going to switch over in just a second because there's a delay.
No.
Okay. I will be happy to talk to Knox
It is
about your
the
loss of credit.
It is the top of the 7th, and
I'm unmuted. Okay.
it's the top of the 7th, and the Trojans are looking for another shutout here, or else this could very well be the end of the game.
Yeah, top of the 7th, and Draken back out, and he needs a shutdown inning here to make sure the Trojans are within 1 run to try to complete the comeback in the 7th inning. Really looked like they had a shot there with Brandis getting that leadoff hit, but they just couldn't move the runners, unfortunately, after that, and you just need to get a bunt down or just find a way to get 1 run across, and they were unable to do that. Back on the field, please.
I think we are back on the field. Yep.
Top of the 7th.
Walking in the River by Aha.
A long game, and this would be a really heartbreaking loss for the Trojans if they could not complete the comeback. They
have stuck with it so far and fought so hard for this and slight comeback here. If they can't make it, that just real tearjerker.
And they really outplayed the Rebels, I think, again, like they did in both games last year. But
catcher, number 7,
the issue
Logan
really was
Van Hill.
carrying, starting, and giving up 3 runs early, and that has been a seemingly insurmountable deficit for them.
Absolutely. And as the sun is blocked by the clouds, we here at
No. Logan Van Hale digging in.
Ooh. Low ball there.
1-0.
Choke. sorry. What? Gotta support the team.
That one catches the outside corner. 1-1 to the junior catcher. This one is popped up into center. Now running in, calling off Marzo, is Brandis in center, making the catch. 1 down.
Number 2, Raul Archiga.
Here is the number 9 hitter, Raul Archiga. 1 for 4 today, 1 for 3. Trojans would fall to a losing record.
Car.
Oh, that poor red truck's been hit twice today.
It's a shame. I wouldn't want to be that red truck right now.
No, it's been... My car, luckily, has been spared today.
Oh, yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
No, it's just got to back up a little.
That one is low.
Yes.
Trojans would fall to 1-2-1 with a loss, and it's a tough schedule. It's going to be hard at the Boris Classic to get a lot of victories. It's really hurt NCS if they can't get a victory. Slate's got to hurry because it's slow, and Brown can't handle the hop. Archega's going to head on to second. It's another error today, the second on Slate, fourth error, overall on the Trojans. They have not fielded well today at all.
That bounce on that ground ball there definitely just killed that that first base stop.
And it was really slow grounder, and the second time that Slate just rushed it again, and it was a very hard field for Brown. Brown's not happy, but can't blame him. That was not a good throw by Porter Slate. Christian Torres up next, and now a runner on second and 1 out. And San Lorenzo would love to get a second run. They were so close in the 6th to doing that. Had the bases loaded, had a 3-2 count and couldn't get it. Meanwhile, we're going to have a pitch runner. Gio Valdez is going to pitch it. Potentially could be speedy and get that key insurance run. Big for San Lorenzo as well to get a victory against a good team and really help their NCS standing. It makes it key when you have two strong playoff teams, especially in the same division, facing each other. The NCS committee is going to look at that very closely when they are making their seedings in May. And the Trojans want to get that top 4 seed like they did last year so you can guarantee those 2 home games for the first 2 rounds. This one is chopped to third, and Lewis takes a look back to second, throws to first, and they just got Torres.
That's 2 outs?
2 down. It was a good decision by Lewis to look back the runner, but he almost looked too long. 2 down, and Trojans need to get Romar here to move it on to the bottom of the 7th. Still, there are plenty of victories the Trojans could get that could improve their NCS standing with the committee. Same with San Lorenzo. So would certainly not be without naught if they lose this one.
They can get, if they can finish out this inning without getting any runs on the board, then I feel, not this inning, the top of the 7th here, and moving to the bottom. It's going to be tough for them because San Lorenzo has shut them down so many times across this game.
Matt misses outside. Trojans fell behind 3-0 early. Garrett Gehring chip back with 2 in the 2nd, though. San Lorenzo was able to scrape across 2 little runs. Slate fields it quickly. Not the best throw, but Brown did a good job scooping that one. And we are through the top of the 7th. It's the bottom of the 7th for the Trojans. They've trailed this entire game. They got it down to 3-2, but the Rebels were able to get 2 key runs across. In the 5th, when Marquez came in for Newton, the Trojans were able to get across 2. Then they had a leadoff single last inning, weren't able to get anything. So this is the final chance here, 3 more outs to get a victory here.
They need 2 runs to pull off a Christmas miracle.
I don't know about a miracle, but We will see, and we do have a pitching change. Marquez is gone, and Carlos Jimenez has entered, a junior for the Rebels. And Jimenez has appeared just once so far this season, and he did not allow a run in that one appearance.
However, it is a ballsy move to put in a pitcher who's only been put in once this season and has not been put in once this game in the final inning to stop a last-ditch attempt for 2 runs.
Well, it might be to close it out. That's what he did before. He pitched just 1 inning, struck out 2, and then easy 1-2-3 inning. So he's likely the closer, but this is obviously a very hard spot. And leading off for the Trojans will be Danny Marzo. So the top of the order the Trojans get, so that's the hardest task. And Marzo, Slate, and Smith, the 1, 2, and Draken, and then Smith, all 4 have hit all very well today, by far the best for the Trojans. And you just want to get Marzo on, you can start to bunt him around and just scrape across a run. San Lorenzo's done that best, and even though they really have been outplayed by the Trojans, they've been the scrappier, tougher team today, even if they have the lack of talent.
Leading off the bottom of the 7th inning for Petaluma, left fielder, number 12, Danny Marzo.
Here's the 5'5", 155-pound senior pitcher and left fielder. He's 2 for 4 today, and a big moment here. See how this new pitcher is for the Rebels. The first pitch is in there for a strike. Jimenez just took 8 pitches to pitch that 1 inning. It was against Skyline, closing it out in the 7th. It was an easy victory, though. It was not close like this one. That one is low. San Lorenzo 2-1 overall, and they're coming off a victory yesterday. They shut out San Leandro 3-0. 1-1 now. Marzo's been in a lot of big moments, including the Little League World Series. That helps even more with experience. He might be a senior, but seen a lot more than most adults have. A big swing and a miss, though, there. Marzo chasing.
Marzo's feeling the pressure.
And he's fallen behind here in this key leadoff at bat. Off speed, he crushes it past the second baseman. A base hit. A very key base hit for Marzo. And now it'll be interesting to see if Coach Salvatella tries a bunt here with Porter Slate, who had been struggling coming in today, but is 1 for 3 today. Had a leadoff at bat, but after that, 3 outs, so he's been up and down. Marzo has good speed, doesn't have any stolen bases this year, but last year Marzo was 12 for 14 on stolen bases, so you could think that he might steal here. Slate swinging on the first pitch, fouls it off down the first baseline. Trojans have not laid down a bunt this year, though. And now here is the bunt, and it's a perfect bunt laid down by Slate. Marzo easily advances to second. That was perfectly executed by Porter Slate, wasn't it? Did his job perfectly, unexpected, and it was just a luscious bunt laid down the line. And there was only one choice for Van Hale, but to throw to third. Marzo was on second by the time Van Hale picked up the ball. 1 down, and now Andraken, who's 2 for 4 today, trying to come through and tie this game up. First pitch in there for a strike. Junior pitcher for the Rebels, Carlos Jimenez. Just his 2nd appearance of the season, 2nd appearance ever on varsity in this big moment. And Andraken fouls it back, and he's quickly in the hole here, 0-2. Andraken batting .286 on the year. He's a big swinger. He does strike out a lot, 11 strikeouts last year. He's 1 for 3, excuse me. He walked and has a base hit and flied out. And he crashes it over the second baseman's head. And Marzo will hold up at third. And then it gets by the pitcher. Marzo racing towards home. He is safe at the plate. Tie game.
Oh my goodness.
We are tied at 5. Danny Marzo will score. What a key mistake there by the Rebels. And we are tied at 5. And Draken is at second. He crushes it over the second baseman's head, who made a valiant approach. Leaping up into the air, it was just over his glove. And then it was just really poor execution by San Lorenzo. They tried to rush it back in, even though Marzo had held up at third. Yeah. And Jimenez just did not Valdez, or no, it was the pitcher, wasn't it? It was Jimenez, yes. It was Jimenez, the pitcher, who just did not handle it well, and it got by him, and Marzo was alert.
Lucky turn of events there for
yeah.
the Trojans.
And it was lucky, but Marzo was alert. He was waiting, and as soon as it got by,
it really shows.
Did it? They will intentionally walk Sam Brown here. And you don't need to throw the 4 pitches. High school baseball has followed Major League Baseball's lead in no longer pitching to the batter for intentional walks, but just intentionally giving it to him. And Brown has played well today. Smith is just 1 for 3. So now with runners on first and second, you also get the force as well for the Rebels. So that really does make sense. The decision there by James Marvin, the longtime coach at San Lorenzo, has really built a strong squad, a strong program with very little resources. This is ripped down the line. Here comes Ed Draken. The throw. Not in time. Walking off at Abbey Field. The Trojans win 6-5.
Excellent. Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable finish. Bradley Smith is getting the cheers around him. He ripped it down the line on the first pitch he saw. And there was no chance to get Andraken, who was on his horse coming home. The throw never had a chance, and the Trojans complete a come-from-behind victory. They did not lead the entire game until the very last pitch. Second time the Trojans have walked off this season. They moved to 2-1-1 on the season. San Lorenzo moves to 2-2 on the season. Interviews are coming up next, so stick right here. Interviews on this camera.
Yeah, it's down. This battery now says I'm talking into a microphone. There are people here. Oh. Hello, my name is Cameron Grant. I'm here on this field for no reason with a camera and a microphone. Huh? Yeah. It's all plugged in. Is everything okay?
All right. Thank you for your patience. Bradley Smith, the man of the hour, is going to join me. What? The audio's cutting out? All right, well, we'll deal with it. All right, Bradley Smith is joining me here. He walked off this afternoon for the Trojans. Take me through your approach in that at bat.
Honestly, I was pretty mad that they walked a sophomore to get to me. So I was just looking for the first pitch fastball, and I got it.
And this team was trailing the entire game, and you guys are able to come back and get the victory. How were you guys able to keep on battling and pull out a win?
I don't know. Just kept our heads up, trying not to get down. I don't know. Put runs on the board, get on.
What do you think it says about this team? You guys have come back multiple times this year and found a ways to get victories.
I don't know. We got a lot of fight, and I feel like we don't come out with as much energy as we do we get during the game. So that's probably it. I don't know. Oh, it's not working, Griffin.
Oh, we're fine. Don't listen to them. This team did have some mistakes today. What are you guys looking to improve on as the season goes forward?
Just clean up our defense. Jump on the first pitch fastball, probably. Not trying to get behind the count. Throw strikes as pitchers. I think that's about it.
Thank you, Bradley.
Thank you.
Can you hear the audio, or is it totally cutting out? It's what? Weird. Can you toss me another battery? Can I have another battery, please? Can I have some help, please? I'm going to need your keys again. I don't know why you do this so tightly. This is ridiculous. I can't get that. Yeah, you don't need to do it I mean, it should be tight, but not that tight. I've never seen it do that before. I don't know what that means. Can we test where? Okay, can you hear me? Kaylee. All right. Apologies for all technical. Do I sound clearer now? Oh, yes and no. That's really not a clear answer. All right, we're going to grab a couple more interviews, so stick right here. Is this better? Is this better?
microphone I'm talking with it? Do I sound? Does it sound? Oh man. All right. Does it change anything if I jiggle it around? What? Yeah, he already did that though. Maybe. Ready?
Testing, testing. Better. Good. All right. Can you press record?
Where are we at? Right here?
Yes,
All right.
good. Here with the manager of the Trojans, Coach Salvatella, after the Trojans walk it off in a comeback victory. How are you guys able to pull out the victory after trailing all game long?
You know what? These guys know that we get 7 times we can come up to bat. We get 21 outs. And they know to battle all the way to the end. And they did that today. Fortunately, we were only down by 1. Nick and Draken did a great job holding them. So they only had 5 runs. We were able to go ahead and get in a situation with Danny Marzo leading off the bottom of the 7th. He's the perfect setup guy. He went out consistently, he always gets those hits. We put us in a situation where Porter was able to bunt him over to second, and then I got Andraken coming up, I got Brown coming up, and I got Smith coming up. And it was either going to be one of those 3 guys was going to win it for us, or we were going to go down swinging. But they came through for us.
And you guys fell behind early. Garrett Gehring struggled, but Jake Duca and Nick Andraken really pitched well. What did that say about your guys' mentality that those 2 pitchers came in unexpectedly and were able to hold down the fort, and you guys were able to slowly chip away?
Well, actually, they didn't come in unexpectedly because we planned on having Garrett go as far as he could, and then JD come in for an inning or 2, and then Nick finish it up. They did have to come in a little bit earlier than we wanted. We have to develop pitching. It can't just be Draken, Blake, Danny.
Right.
It can't be just the 3-man show. We're playing in the Boris in a couple of tournaments. I need more arms to step up. So we're going to be experimenting this week. We're going to be throwing a lot of bullpens, and we're going to be developing another 2 or 3 pitchers because we have to.
Pitching is definitely the weakness on this team, and you're going to try to improve that. How do you guys compensate elsewhere, even though you know the pitching is going to be a struggle?
Well, let's make sure we understand that. Andraken, Blake, Danny is not a weakness. Yeah, I just want to make sure we understand that. That is not a weakness.
No.
Those are 3 quality high school pitchers. Now, after that, we have some people that need to develop. So how do you overcompensate that? Just have a lineup 1 through 9 that's going to bang out runs. And we got a lot of bangers.
Yes. Thank you, Coach. You're welcome. Could you grab Nick, possibly? Thank you. Oh, well, I got it on the camera. No, it only worked through here. Can you, what, is it still cutting out or what? Maybe I'm too loud. You could try turning it down on there. I might be too loud. Is that better now? No? I don't know then, I guess. Yeah. Can they hear me at all, or like, no, not at all? All right, we're going to have one more interview. I don't know how well you can hear me. Nick Andraken is going to join me. He had a spectacular game, both hitting and pitching-wise. Came in and helped hold down the fort, and the Trojans were able to get the walk-off victory. Senior Nick Andraken joins me here. You were able to hold down the fort with you guys trailing in those late innings. You started a lot last year, but now you're getting some more relief action. What is the difference for you, and how you've been able to be effective in this new role?
I think it's honestly the same process as when you start. You just got to obviously get yourself warm, get loose, go down to the bullpen, throw strikes.
You guys were able to come back again. You were a key piece of that, getting the base hit that tied up this game. What was your guys' mentality coming into the 7th inning after you'd been trailing the whole game?
I'd say our mentality is just to be aggressive, get your pitch, and just send it, hit as hard as you can.
This team's got great experience with a lot of seniors returning from last year. How do you guys learn from your experiences last year and use that to benefit you guys this year?
We basically just look what we did right, look what we did wrong, see what we can improve on. Obviously, you always got something to get better on. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
The end of the year, your senior year, where do you want to see this team?
State. We always do it for state here at Petaluma.
Thank you. Right, that was Nick and Drake. I want to thank Nick and Bradley and Coach Shelvotella as well for all of their interviews here today. The Trojans complete a thrilling 6-5 victory over San Lorenzo. Coming back, they walked it off on the Bradley Smith base hit, Nick and Drake, and scoring that winning run in that thrilling victory. Final score 6-5 after the Trojans trailed the entire day, but they stayed through, they pulled it out, and pitching certainly will have its struggles. They do have some strong starters, though, with Andraken, Burr, and Marzo, but after that, that is going to be an issue, but the hitting, no doubt, is good, and they keep it battling. They come back once again. They've come back every single game they've played so far. Besides their opening loss, they moved to 2-1-1. They will face Maria Carrillo again on Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in as the Trojans get a victory here. Our next baseball live stream is coming up next month, so do not miss that. And we also have softball live streams coming up as well. Plus, you can check out our Trojan YouTube channel for all full coverage of spring sports. There will be plenty more uploaded in the coming days, weeks, and months. Thank you to our whole crew for today. Kaylee Smith, Cameron Grit, I'm Griffin Epstein. Thank you so much for tuning in. So long from Abbey Field. Stop streaming. Press the stop streaming button.